I hope I'm audible. In case any discrepancy, if any members are there of shifting into awareness, you can just send me a WhatsApp, because I don't know, I'm still trying to get familiar with the chat and all those things here. Okay, I can see I'm live here. Okay, fine. So I'll close this window. So Arunachala Shiva, I'll begin directly with the session. Yesterday we connected to the tattva of Bhagavan Ramana and Arunachala, how both are one and the same. Today we'll focus a little bit on the Mahima of Arunachala. All these series, I believe, may help us understand Arunachala little bit in clarity in Bhagavan Ramana, though I have nothing to even speak of them. Who are we? We are just a speck of dust. We can't even imagine. As I keep on telling you, it's impossible to describe. Like it is impossible to describe the self, the Atman, Paramatman. We can only glorify with some ornamental words. It's impossible to describe them. So wherever, till whatever extent my ego can fathom these beings, I'll try. All with the grace of Bhagavan Ramana and Arunachala, we are inspired to do this. So I believe this series will help us understand Arunachala. Those who are very new to Arunachala, who are very new to the teachings of Bhagavan Ramana, who are new to even shifting into awareness, what I'm trying to share here since the past 4-5 years, you might be able to understand this tattva a little bit better. I'm just trying to simplify it as much as possible, but I am giving all references from the books we have, from all the stories that we have heard about Arunachala and Ramana, through, of course, the scriptures like Puranas, Skanda Puranas. We're just referring so that we get a deep insight of this tattva. So we'll begin with a small prayer. Asato ma sadgamaya, tamaso ma jyotirgamaya, mrityorma amritam gamaya. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. So this prayer is just connecting deeply within. The prayer where we are asking to lead us from darkness to light, to lead us from falsehood to only the truth. Asat se sat, asatoma sadgamaya. Tamas se jyoti, tamasoma jyotirgamaya, from darkness to light. Because we are choosing this tattva of light only. Shiva is light, Arunachala is light, the path of wisdom is light. So light is everything. Light only can remove darkness, and that light only is what we call as jnana, the light of jnana, the light of wisdom. Jnana Jyoti. That Jyoti only is Shiva, by the brilliance of which the darkness can be removed. The darkness of tamas, the timir, by which we are unable to identify who we really are, by which all these false delusions catch hold of us. So tamasoma jyotirgamaya, mrityorma amritam gamaya. Mrityu se amrit. From mortality to immortality, lead me from mortality to immortality. As I explained this many times, it doesn't mean immortality means having a long life, having kaya kalp, living on forever and ever in this body and ego, mind. It is actually to go beyond the ego mind. When we ask for immortality, we are actually asking to kill the body, mind, ego. But normally we think immortality means having a long life, Dirgayu. That is why we are so scared. We want to prolong life, overcome death, by prolonging life. We think the Mahamrityunjay mantra is going to give us long life. Mahamrityunjay mantra will actually bless you to the realization that you are long life. You are the eternal spirit. You are the eternal Atman. That is what Mahamrityunjay mantra can give you. Mahamrityunjaya, Mrityupe Jaya, conqueror of death, the fear of death. That is what Mahamrityunjay mantra is. It is not to prolong life. It is not to keep thronging to extend the mind, body, ego. It actually kills that. So, Mrityorma, Amritam Gamaya, we are praying means lead me from mortality to immortality, means lead me from this false illusion that I am an mortal soul, I am a limited soul. Get me, help me, bless me with the realization that I am an immortal being, that I never die. So, realizing that I don't die means I have self realization. I've realized the self doesn't die. That is self realization. So, Mrityorma Amritam Gamaya means that. So these three verses are very strongly connected to the invocation that we do here in shifting into awareness. That's all the prayers are, nothing else. Only our deep prayer to the Atman, to the Shiva, the center of our being, is to lead us from falsehood to truth. Keep me away from all falseness, lead me only the truth. We are the seekers of truth and nothing else. Give me the blessings that my eyes may remain, my being, my presence may remain only in the truth. May it see truth, may it hear truth, may it be one with truth, nothing else. Lead me from falseness to truth. So that is what the this phenomena of awareness also is. When you are aware, you can only be aware of the truth. You cannot be aware of the false. So when you shift into awareness, you are fully aware of nothing but the truth. You go beyond the mind and ego when you are in awareness. So that's where we talk so much about shifting into awareness, means being abiding in the truth. Only through awareness you can see what is beyond the mind and ego. So lead me from this, from falseness to truth. May my eyes remain always in the truth. May my eyes always remain on the light, not on the darkness. May my face be always turned toward the sunshine, not towards my shadows. That's the blessings that we are asking. Because these are the prayers, deep bhava, deep prayers that you can always make. Like I've told you, the prayers must be done more from the bhava sharira. It's very impactful. From the four levels of speech, Vaikhari, Madhyama, Pashyanti, Paravani. Vaikhari is the what we speak. Madhyama is the mental. Pashyanti is the bhava. That's what I'm talking. The bhava sharira, the feelings, emotions. Paravani is beyond words. Paravani is the space of Guru Dakshinamurti. Paravani is the space of Bhagavan Ramana. That is why Ramana means the other name for silence. Mauna. Mauna doesn't mean keeping quiet, not speaking. Mauna means absence of speech, absence of thoughts also. Bhagavan corrects many times that Mauna, silence, is not absence of speech but absence of thoughts. So when the vrittis die, where there is no thought left, one becomes nischala, achala, like Arunachala, which is still. So when we are asking this prayer, when we ask from this space of the bhava sharira, pashyanti, we have done it in many webinars, all these things. Paravani webinar, we have done this. What is this Bhava Sharira? How to actually vibrate from there without using speech, without using thoughts. Very powerful. It's the closest to Paravani. It's the closest to God. It's the closest to the silent Guru, Dakshinamurti. Dakshinamurti is the inner being, the form of Shiva only, the silent Guru, which is within us. So, when we connect to the inner Guru, only one when is capable of coming to the Bhava Sharira. If you can use the language of Pashyanti through vibrations, then it's easier to connect with the inner Guru. You sit at the feet of the inner Guru, Dakshinamurti, Paravani, and you are at the vibratory level. That's the closest. Beyond that is a different field where the highest Upadesha happens, as Bhagavan Ramana says, the highest teaching that is ever imparted, not through satsangas, discourses, speech. Highest and the purest is the language of silence, and that is Paravani. But as we are progressing, we must keep progressing. Then only we can understand these things. But if we are limited only to the hearing and speaking, Vaikhari, the lowest form of communication between the Guru and Shishya, lowest form. You see Bhagavan Ramana's life when he's sitting in the ashram, even those days, you look at all the books and you look at all the references, you'll see he always was in Mauna, Parahani state. And many came, quietly sat and left, quietly sat and left. So those who were attuned with that oneness, with that blankness, they received what they had to receive without the buddhi or without the ego mind even understanding what's happening. It's all the transference of the consciousness. Many Mahatmas used to come there, great saints used to come, no speech, no talks, sit and go. Two Gyanis sitting together like that. They were in the state of that Paravani. But when Shishyas came, when devotees came, when Bhaktas came, when people came to meet, they were at different states of consciousness. So those who were mature enough would silently sit. Those who were not would vibrate at the thought level. They communicated to him through the mind. Bhava Sharira, what I am teaching, that Pashyanti, that level. If that was not possible, little more lower level, they would pray in the mind. Connect with what we do when we go to any guru, god, saint. We have these different levels of communication. One is through bhava, the other is through the mind. We keep talking through the mind, exchanging the words. So we might sit in some saint's presence and send through mind. That is madhyama, still more lower. And the lowest is to open your mouth and ask, Vaikhari. But you can see Bhagavan Ramana was operating on all the levels. Through Paravani, whoever is there, he transferred through Paravani, highest Upadesha. Through Pashyanti, who was there, through the Bhava, they used to get that Bhava is when you get Shaktipat. You can have Shaktipat even in Ramanashram, even today. If you understand what I'm saying, if you are at that level of consciousness of communicating with that nothingness through your Bhava Sharira, you might have tears, you might break down into tears, or your body might shudder, or it might sway, or it might experience some bliss or laughter or happiness or smile, or tears flowing out of joy. Many things can happen. Many different things can happen. It all depends on what level of communication we are doing. It can happen even now in Ramanashram. Even Paravani happens because Ramana is not gone. Ramana can never die. He exists in the Paravani state, in the silence. So that Guru Tattva is very active in Arunachala, because that Arunachala itself is Shiva and Ramana is the Guru Tattva. Ramana represents the Dakshinamurti form of Shiva. Dakshinamurti form of Shiva is the Guru Tattva. Param Tattva only manifests as Guru Tattva. Guru Tattva is the mediator between the highest consciousness, and the ignorance, that is we. So this middle layer, Guru Tattva, is only to connect the highest with the lowest and form a bridge, and the lower merge into the higher and become one. That's the Guru Tattva. So Arunachala is Guru Tattva. We will see today. I'll try to read from the glory of Arunachala. It's better we understand Arunachala first, then we understand Ramana, because if you understand Arunachala properly, you can clearly understand the role of Ramana there and how important. Because if you understand how Arunachala itself is Shiva Tattva, completely it is pure Shiva. And Ramana is just a representative of that Shiva, because that Shiva doesn't speak. It needs a voice, isn't it? When it's pure consciousness, it is manifesting as light. It still needs to communicate, because not everybody is communicating at Paravani or Pashanti. There are people at Madhyama and Vaikhari. So for that reason only Shiva in the Puranas say, I have settled down here for my devotees, for the sake of my devotees. Settle down here, what does that mean? He has manifested the gross form, because everybody is in the gross form. The Nirguna Nirakara cannot be understood. So he takes the form of light and he manifests as the gross form, that is the hill. And all that the hill has manifested, including Bhagavan Ramana, is all the manifestation of Shiva only. So that Shiva Tattva chose Bhagavan Ramana to be the voice, his voice. That is why I call Ramana as the voice of Arunachala. He is the voice of Arunachala. He is the voice of Shiva. So when you listen to Ramana, you are listening to the voice of Shiva. You can study the charitra of Bhagavan Ramana, such a pure life, purest of pure life, right from the start. So you can see this tattva also, this consciousness, Chaitanya, how it chooses the right instrument. Somebody is born, from there he is attracted. He has no idea, because his ego is so diminished. There is no I left in him. So he becomes the perfect instrument for that Param Tattva. And the Param Tattva pulls him to that zone, the center of the creation, Hridayakasha, Arunachala. And from there, the voice operates through Ramana. And that is how we are today even understanding the Mahima of Arunachala. Without Ramana, I don't think it would have been so deeply elaborated. That is why whatever mysteries that I share, like Devi Kalotra, I have told you, Upadesaram, Devi Kalotra, these you will not find, I have told you yesterday, you will not find it commonly anywhere. It's one of the highest secrets. It is the final Upadesha given by Shiva to Parvati. Final Tantra, final Upadesha, last. It is nowhere there. How come only it is there in Arunachala? Because that is the place. That is the place it happened, because that's the place where Parvati is supposed to have merged with Shiva after her final tapas. Of course, her final tapas was in Kanchipuram, little far from there. Then she comes and meditates at the foothill of Arunachala. And the Ardhanarishwara, what we talk about, it's happened there. The merging of Parvati and into Shiva. It happened there. It's the glory of Arunachala. These are not just mythological projections. If you look at this whole story outside Mahima, Puranas for example, there are many stories of Brahma, Vishnu, and Mahesha, they fighting together. All these things must not be taken as something external. These are deep mystic symbolism of our own inner self. All the macrocosm represents the microcosm. Like Ardhanarishwara, Shiva and Parvati is not exactly outside. It is us. The egoic part of us merging the finest ego, the Sukshma ego, the Aham, the I am, The I am is the purest ego. That is compared to Shakti. Shakti is the near purest form, but it still is, there is an I, there is a knowing, I am, there is some existence apart from that Shiva. Sukshma, ati sukshma it is. So that state is Shakti, represented as Shakti. And the other, pure consciousness, which is there, that is Shiva. So the Atman, what I am, the Atman, and the ego, these two halves. Ego, the purified ego. Purified ego means what? It doesn't have any other vasanas, any vritti, any other, just the presence, I amness. Ek existence, but it is separate yet from the, it has still one identity, that I exist. That is the purest form. So I amness. See, in I amness, there is I plus am. Amness is the pure consciousness. Hona, being. I am, मैं हूँ. I am there. Hona is the being, supreme consciousness. But there is an I also in that. That is the Shakti. Shiva and Shakti, I plus am. Anyways, that as we go deeper, we will be able to literally understand. We have done enough webinars and we do these in the retreats, anyways, deep. But Arunachala helps us understand this. Through this mysticism, through Shastras, through the Puranas, Shiva, that which is formless, it cannot explain itself unless it has to take a Nama Rupa. Because we, through our Indriyas, we only understand through Nama Rupa. We need a Rupa, we need a Nama. Nama means sound words. Rupa means vritti, vikalpas. We need projections, we need images. Some kind of formats must be there. Look at this whole world, Rama Rupa. Look at the body itself. It has a Nama and Rupa, like this body, what you are calling. How do you identify this look, this face? You put a Nama, that is Jake. Rupa is this. You think of this body, the name appears, or you take the name, the Rupa appears in the mind. Just take a name, a word. Mango. Mango is what? Nama. Rupa appeared, no, in your mind. Immediately it will appear. At the same time, you see a mango photo. Immediately the Nama will appear. Mango, the word will appear. These both is what creates the world. Nama Rupa. So we are living in Nama Rupa. We cannot live without that. Look, from day to night, our existence is all in Nama Rupa. The Jagrita Avastha, the Swapna Avastha. These both avasthas are in Nama Rupa. In Jagrit, we are always interacting with Nama Rupa. In Swapna also, we are interacting with Nama Rupa. Only Sushupti is that state where the Nama and Rupa goes, but only the I am remains. I exist as pure consciousness, Sushupti. So that state. So Nama Rupa, because we are acquainted with this, now Shiva, which is Sushupti, it has to take a form because we are not in Sushupti. We are in Jagrita. We come alive with Nama Rupa. We interact. So even that Nirguna Nirakara has to take a Saguna Rupa, Akara, bring on attributes, because with the attributes it can function. So that supreme consciousness, which is invisible, subtle, takes a form so as to explain to us, because we are in the Nama Rupa. That is how all these Mahatmas happen. All these mythology takes place. All the gods are born. Brahma, Vishnu, Mahesh, everything is born. Because these are all again part of the play only, play of consciousness. Even gods and deities, avatars, they are all part of the play of consciousness. We are actually talking about the Paramashiva, which is beyond all this Nama Rupa, the unmanifest Shiva, not yet manifested. that nothingness. That is what we call as Chidakasha, not yet manifested at any form. But it is very difficult for us to fathom that, Paramashiva. So we can relate with the God which has taken a manifest Brahman or manifest Shiva. That is how we are able to relate to Brahma, Vishnu, Mahesh. So most of the time, the Shiva that we are talking about is Mahesha, the one which has taken a form. And here I keep talking maximum in shifting into awareness. All the time is Paramashiva. But it's not easy because we cannot understand. The moment I say Paramashiva, any tattva there, Nama Rupa will come into our heads. A Saguna Rupa will come into our heads. So that's exactly not the match of what we are talking. Because the moment any Nama Rupa Vikalpa comes into your mind becomes active. And the moment mind becomes active, which is a form of ego, you are separate from the self. You cannot be the self. That's the whole thing about Shiva and Shakti. Shakti is separated from there. So she has her identity. That Shakti represents us. So we will understand through this story of Ardhanareshwara again and the glory of Arunachala. What I am saying, you'll not find exactly in some books. These are my deep insights over these years when I used to sit in Arunachala. I used to get these deep insights. And whenever I used to read any of the Mahatams, immediately the meaning would pop up in the head. That this is what it means. This is what it means. So I have never been able to catch on with the forms all my life. Like we did the Durga Shapsati during Navaratras last time. And in that, you saw that the whole explanation that I gave about Durga Shapsati, what it is, how deeply it is resembling to us. The Shumba Nishumba, the Madhu Kaitava, the Chandamunda, all these are simply our attributes. They have been given asuric demonic names because it is so difficult for us to directly become aware of these asuras in us until we give them a form, nama rupa, and then we tell this is the asura. But unfortunately, the moment you give nama rupa, they become external, and your asuras go outside. Even the Devi goes outside, and all our imagination is that we have to call a mother from outside to kill a demon that is outside. In fact, all these demons are within us, and the mother is uninterrupted awareness. Shiva Sutra beautifully explains Bhairavi. Bhairavi means uninterrupted awareness. When my awareness is uninterrupted, it is a full blown Bhairavi. So these are the tattvas. Look at this explanation. Bhairavi. Bhairavi is nothing but my full blown awareness. Awareness which is pure and sharp and 100%. 100% awareness means absolutely there is absence of ego and mind there. So it's a Bhairavi. That state is Bhairavi when you're in a full blown awareness. So Parashakti is this Shakti what we are invoking. That Shakti is us. We manifest from that Parashakti. We are the unmanifest Shiva. From there we manifest and take the Jyoti Swarupa. We are the Jyoti Swarupa. Then the split occurs between us, in us, as Shiva and Shakti. The light remains and the Spandan separates. There is a separation of this sound, vibration, thoughts, creation. From there, creation begins. From there, Brahma, Vishnu, Mahesh, these three faculties in us arise. But that light remains. That unconscious, unmanifest is also there. The manifesting part also is there. Brahma, Vishnu, Mahesh aspects also are there. Then in the Shakti again, the Ichcha Shakti, Kriya Shakti, Jnana Shakti, these are all within us. The desires in us, Ichcha Shakti, the Kriya Shakti, the moment you make an Icha, the kriya happens, movement happens. Thought moves, vibration moves, it goes out into the universe, it creates. Your body moves towards getting those dreams and desires. Icha Shakti, Kriya Shakti happens. And there's a Jnana Shakti in all this. Jnana Shakti is the Jnana, the true Jnana, which is represented in the form of Ma Saraswati. Pure Jnana means it is not the mind Jnana. It is not what we collect from this world, from the manifest world. It is unmanifest Jnana, cosmic intelligence, what I call. That is known as Ma Saraswati. That is why she is referred to as the daughter of Brahma, the virgin daughter, born from the mind. Mind means what? Born from the mind means it doesn't involve an intercourse, which is considered impure. The purest virgin form, born out of the mind. Manas Putra, Brahma Putra, Sanat Kumar and all. You have heard, right? So Saraswati also is born from Brahman, mean born from the mind, pure intelligence. See how deep these tattvas are. So my intention is to bring out these tattvas. We have been doing this for the members of Shifting into Awareness anyways, but I thought here many of my friends and people who know me asked that if we can do it openly. I said, why not? Those who are interested in understanding the tattvas will find it very easy. Then you can relate with Arunachala and just simply fall in love with Arunachala, only to realize that Arunachala is not outside. It is you only, your Atman, your center of the being. Like I told you, it is very difficult for us to understand the self and my center. It is very easy to understand the earth center, isn't it? It's very impossible almost to understand the Shiva is there in the center of my being. But if I tell Shiva is in the on the hill Arunachala, he is himself, you'll be able to understand it. And it's very true, because whatever is in the microcosm is there in the macrocosm also. It all exists inside and outside, both in the same powers. So Arunachala is powerful, but ultimately when you go into the macrocosm, you're actually going into the microcosm. It's a holographic effect. So when you sit and meditate, when you are pulled and going towards Arunachala and you go and sit there at the foothills and meditate, you are actually in depth sitting at the feet of your own inner Guru, inner God, and Shiva here and meditating. So till we are able to simply be withdrawn inside and be absorbed effortlessly, Arunachala will appear as a hill and call us. Call us again and again so that we weaken the mind tendencies, the vasanas, the egoic tendencies. Slowly, slowly, as it reduces, we will start understanding and going inside. That is the purpose of anything that appears outside. Listen to this very, very carefully. Anything that appears outside, its only purpose is to lead you inside, including the Guru. The Guru appears outside, pulls you, pulls the Shishyas or devotees towards the Guru. And you go and sit at the feet of the physical Guru again and again, because the vasanas, tendencies, the vrittis are very strong. Vikalpas are very strong. It cannot be understood easily. But by the grace of the Guru, slowly, the Chitta Shuddhi happens. And then you are drawn inward. So when you gain this ability to go directly inward, the outside is not required. And that is the purpose of the outside. The Param Chaitanya, which is there, Supreme Consciousness, keeps manifesting again and again in different formats. Sometimes as a hill, sometimes as an avatara, sometimes as the Guru, sometimes as anything, any teachers outside. Everything is a Mahaguru here. Everything, life is a Guru. Avadhut Dattatreya says, life is a Guru. This can be easily understood if you understand Chaitanya, that everything comes from Chaitanya. So if everything is Chaitanya, everything has the tattva of Chaitanya. So everything is Shiva, everything is a teacher, everything has a Guru tattva. Every single thing. But in the start, we cannot understand this. We need a concentrated, one pointed, one person, place, thing. a deity. But slowly, as the Chitta Shuddhi happens, you will be able to relate to anything and everything as your Guru. Even a passing stranger will teach you something and go. Even a fly that flies by your nose has a lesson or some teaching, some message for you. If you become alert more and more in this manner, our entire universe becomes the Guru. That is what Bhagavan Nityananda says. In the start, bhakti is very selfish. It is only for the self. But eventually, as you ripen, it becomes selfless, and then the whole universe becomes your Guru. Nityananda says. This is the meaning. Eventually, that will come. So, what happens when the king is lost in the forest and then suddenly sees an Avadhuta standing naked there? He sees the brilliance of this naked Avadhuta standing in the hot sun, and he, being a king, tired, worn out, scared, having all the treasures, still feeling empty, having all costly clothes, but still feeling miserable, having all the security, but still feeling scared, having all the beautiful shelters, but here wandering in the forest. When he sees this Avadhuta, he wants to ask, who's this? So he goes and asks the gentleman, who's this? Bhagavan Dattatreya opens his eyes and says, gives his introduction. So he asks, who's your Guru? Because he is shining in that sun with a smile, no clothes, hot sun, but bliss is there. So the king thinks that he must be the Shishya of somebody, his Guru must be somebody who's great. So I must find out whose Shishya is he. So he goes and asks, whose Shishya are you? And Bhagavan Dattatreya says, the self is my only Guru, Atman. From where the 24 tattvas came, 24 elements, all those 24 elements are my Gurus. What does that mean? Self is the main Guru, Mahaguru, the soul, which is Paramatman. But if you cannot understand that, then next step. The elements, 24 elements. All the Prakriti is made out of the 24 elements. So that is your Guru. Still, if you can't understand, then again step down. A person becomes your Guru. Are you getting it? So, depending on our level of consciousness, we get trained by this supreme intelligence, which is Shiva. Shiva's guidance is always there in all format. But because we cannot see it, because our awareness is not widespread, we get it to see it in only one person. But eventually, with the grace of that one person, that one Guru, Guru Kripa, which is called, you're able to expand that awareness, and then you see it is not one, all Gurus are the same. There are no differences among any Gurus. Then you don't only categorize Gurus, you see all the beings also are Gurus. Then all the species are Gurus. Then the entire cosmos is the Guru. So that's how this Mahimas lead us to. The purpose of Arunachala, the purpose of the Guru Tattva like Bhagavan Ramana is to tell us this. Bhagavan Ramana, that is why without mincing words, he talks about Guru, self and God are all the same. There is no difference. Why does he say that? Because of the Param Tattva, Param teachings, and those teachings are the highest teachings of Arunachala. So usually when I started talking about Bhagavan Ramana, people thought I am competing with masters and ascended masters, and I chose one master. It's not about choosing one or two masters. They are all the same. There is no difference between Nityananda or Ramana. But they cater to different crowds. All the gurus, all the ascended masters cater to different flavors. It depends on which flavor we are. So this flavor which is there, Bhagavan Ramana, the final flavor, the last flavor, because Arunachala is the point of start of life and the end of life, where Shrishti begins and where the Pralaya happens, where the ego is born and the ego gets destroyed. That is Arunachala. That is why this is the ego getting destroyed, the Sakti merging into Shiva. She is born here, the separation, the split happens here, and the merging also happens here. That is Arunachala. Merging means what? Pralaya. Then it goes, the light goes off, and it's nothingness. The whole game is ended. So the game begins there, the game ends there. Now that's the macrocosm. Now I told you, right? Micro and macro. You refer to the same here. You are born from here, the center of your being, which Bhagavan Ramana talks about as the center of your heart, the heart center. Heart center is not the physical heart, it is the center of your being from where I exist. If you sit here and just be aware that I exist, I am sitting now, I am alive. So I am alive. From where do you feel that? There is a center within you, from wherever you are, your beingness, your aliveness. From that center, if you concentrate a little bit, you will go to the center. Like if you say, I love the world, I love this one, I love that one. Where does your hand go? Does it go here? Does it go to your tummy? It will go here. The feeling of I, the feeling of closeness, the feeling of fear, the feeling of sorrow, everything starts from this center, the center of the being. That's what we are calling as. So, this center from where I am born, the ego is born, and where the ego dies. In the morning, when I wake up, the ego arises. The I, the being, is born. From where, if you concentrate, you'll come to know from the center of your being. This is what we do in the retreats. And at night, when you sleep, if you are paying attention, if you are fully aware, you will see the whole world collapsing into the center of your being. That point from where you arise and where you go is Arunachala. If you cannot understand it here, then outside macrocosm. The whole thing, the whole science, the whole mystery, the whole Puranas, the whole Mahabharata, the whole Ramayana is inside Durga Shapsati. If you can't get it here, then it goes outside macrocosm. So it begins in the macrocosm because we can't get here. So that is how all the gods and goddesses come out, and then you have everything like Navaratras, Mahashivratri, Deepavali, you know, where the slaying of the demons, and the stories, so many stories. Every story, asuras, everywhere you see different stories. They're all representative of all our inner stories, inner demonic forces. Most of these demons, what you call, are nothing but feelings and emotions and thoughts. Those which are very negative and intense, that only you give it a name called demon, asuras. But actually it is us. So mature seekers, they start sitting down and concentrating directly the Ramayana, Mahabharata, Durga Shapsati, everything here without even opening their eyes, without even moving a finger. Their viveka is developed, and with the developed viveka, they are able to do the tapas inside. Like we did the whole Navaratras from Ghaziabad, what we had done, the whole Navaratri, what we had done, the Durga Shapsati, we had done it inside. Nothing outside, absolutely nothing needed outside. That is for mature seekers. It is not that outside is not important. It is also there, but it's little more far away. It involves the ego, it involves the mind, it involves the body. So the grossness is there. But when you are inward, it is subtle. So that is only what Shiva is referring to in Devi Kalotra as Mandabuddhi. When Shiva is telling Parvati, you have reached very close to me, and Parvati is asking the final Upadesha, Brahmagyana. How do I become one with you? That's the same. Before this, how do I become one with you? And that is the time he says you have to become Achala, Arunachala, Achala. You have to become still. If you are moving, you can't. Moving means desires. If you have desires, if you have thoughts, if you have projections, if you have concepts, if you have beliefs, thought, all these things will keep you moving in this world, creating more and more. So if you want to become one with me, you have to become like me, thoughtless. What do I do for that? Yes. For that, he says, give up all your meditations, give up all your concepts, give up all your rituals, give up everything that you do, and simply be. That is what he says. But she can't understand that. She says, you are telling me to give up everything, chakra meditation, kundalini, this, that, rituals, everything. But I have seen you have only given all that in Tantra, and I have read all your Tantras. I read all your tantras. And now you're telling, give it up. I'm confused. At that time, Shiva says, that is also important. But that is for Manda Buddhi. Means whose Buddhi is not yet woken up fully. Intellect is not stimulated and cleansed yet. So, Manda, the Viveka, the power of discrimination is low. Mind is active. Viveka, intellect, Buddhi is slow or low. So it cannot discriminate between what is right and what is wrong, what is real and what is false. Due to that, it is unable to understand at that time. So at that time, concepts are needed. So I have only given the tantra, this and that, rituals and karmakanda, everything is given. But for you, O Devi, you don't need it because your viveka has risen up. You can directly contemplate on me and give up all these doings. So is that clear? This Devi Kalotra, Bhagavan Ramana brought it out for us. It makes life so easy, I'm telling you, because once upon a time I was in full of guilt that I'm not able to do my sadhana. These things are not happening. I'm just able to sit and concentrate and reflect upon or meditate or become deeply aware. I'm not interested in anything. I lost all my interest in all the external. I thought something has gone wrong with me. Arunachala saved me because I used to go and sit in Arunachala and contemplate. Something has happened, but I don't want to. I used to tell Arunachala, I don't want to do anything. It's not that I want to, but it's not happening. I'm not interested. I just want to be here. That's all. Be in your presence. That's it. And then this book landed into my lap one day. And when I read it, I was so full of joy, Devi Kalotra. This is the Lord Arunachala speaking to me simply and telling me, don't worry, nothing wrong has happened. What he's telling Parvati, please understand, whatever Gyan, Upadesha, Shiva is telling to Parvati, Parvati represents us. Let me tell you how it is. Parvati, when she is at the lowest, when she creates Shishti, she moves far away from Shiva and goes to the rock bottom. That is what you call as from Sahasrara, she has gone down to the Mooladhara. So in the Mooladhara, the Shakti is Mand. It is very gross, very far from Shiva. That is us only, our ego. Very in the Mooladhara. Our Chetana is in the Mooladhara. When we say our Chetana is in the Mooladhara and Shakti is in the Mooladhara, it's one and the same only. From there, it needs to rise up. And that when the awakening happens, the Kundalini gets activated, the sleeping snake wakes up. We are the sleeping snake. We are in tamas all the time. जाग मुसाफिर भोर भई अब रैन कहाँ जो सोवत है Kabir, what he says, wake up now. Where is the darkness now? It's daytime. Wake up. Why are you asleep? So when we wake up, that is our awakening. Some part of life we awaken and then we want to go deeper. And through grace, we are guided by something or the other, and slowly our Kundalini starts rising upward. Our Kundalini rising upward means we only rising upward. As the purification keeps happening, we keep rising upward, 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 and we cross all these barriers of different attributes of all the chakras. They are all qualities in us. So we go deeper and deeper, higher, 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 and finally we come to this point. This point, when the Shakti reaches, this is Viveka, the third eye. Third eye opening is the Shiva's third eye opening. We are only that Shiva. When Shiva opens his third eye, he blows out through the fire emanating all that is false. Then pralaya happens. We are also that only. When we come till here, Achetna comes till here, you look through your third eye, you'll see only falseness here. And but the power of seeing, the power of that discrimination, Viveka is so strong here, you can simply be aware that this whole thing is just a hoax here. And when you deeply realize this, you lose interest in it. When you lose interest in it, that's called pralaya. Your samsara breaks down. The whole world, your creation, everything starts becoming crumbling down. That is known as the opening of the third eye and burning everything. Jnanagni it is. Jnana Chakshu it is called. This is the eye, divine eye. Jnana Chakshu. Gyan Agni, Gyan ki Agni. What is that Gyan? That Gyan is which is already there in the Atman. Shiva is self knowledge. The Atma Gyan, Brahma Gyan is already there in all of us. But it's in the most purified form. Because of the impurities, we can't see it. That's all. There is no Gyan to be taken from outside. With every outside that you go, every purification that you do, you are purifying your impurities, and the self wisdom emerges from inside. It doesn't come from outside. That is exactly the story of Parvati. Her story when she is coming closer, and when she's come till here, now she wants to come here. Shiva is sitting here. All those stories, what we talk in these paths, that mother is very angry, she has woken up, and the Kundalini fiercely she goes upward. That represents the deep longing, the deep missing. You want to go and just unite. Doesn't that happen with us sometimes? Most of the intent seekers will have this deep craving. They don't know what for. They are not interested in anything. They just want to go deep within, explore wherever that God is, wherever that Shiva is. I want to be one with him. Wherever my Krishna is, I want to be one with him. Doesn't that longing come? That is us only, Parvati, the Mooladhara, longing and craving. And sometimes you see the more intense sadhakas are, the more intensely they will do anything to go there. That is the Kundalini's force only. So Kundalini and us are not different. Kundalini and us are not different. It is one and the same. We are both connected together. So when we cannot understand ourselves, we put the whole thing on a Shakti outside and then we study that. But actually it is us. So when Parvati says, she's coming closer, she's doing tapas. Parvati does tapas. You'll see as I keep reading this in this coming series, as I keep reading this, you'll beautifully be able to relate to what I'm trying to say here. How we are only that Parvati. And that Shiva, what is talking through all these glorified texts, is actually our soul only trying to get our attention. But because we are not able to hear the invisible voice, that silent voice, it has to take these forms. But inevitably, it comes and makes us realize that's the grace of the Lord. From outside also it can do that. So when the Devi is asking, I want to join here, why is she saying, if she has come till here, why she can't move one step ahead? She has come all the way here, right? But here she says, now I'm not able to come. You tell me why. You tell me how. She's telling Shiva. So that is the meaning of Parvati sitting at the feet of Shiva. Now you take this whole thing into Shishya, the Guru and Shishya, Guru and Shishya. So Guru represents the Viveka, the Jnanamaya Kosha, full of wisdom, Jnana. And Shishya represents the Manomaya Kosha, the mind, full of impurities, ignorances. Mind doesn't know how to find the way. It has to sit under the feet of intellect, Viveka. And its Viveka will give the Jnana to it. That is why Adi Shankaracharya's that document, Viveka Chudamani, you read it, very interestingly, it is a samvad between the Guru and Shishya. But if you read it just grossly, you will say, oh, Guru is talking to the Shishya, Shishya is asking questions. No. It is the mind asking the intellect and the intellect is answering. That is why Viveka Chudamani. Viveka is the Guru. Mind is we, the Shishya. So till we are in the mind, we need a purified intellect, inner Guru. Because this Guru, we are not able to sit. Why we are not able to sit? Because it is Manda Buddhi. The Guru inside is not yet awakened. That is why we are not able to sit inside. So when we are not able to sit inside with the inner Guru, what do? The Param Tattva manifests outside as an external Guru. So my Manda Buddhi is there. My Buddhi is Manda. So I get attracted to somebody whose Buddhi is Tibra, whose Buddhi is active, Prakashit. So the Guru's Buddhi is awakened. So what do? This mind approaches somebody whose Viveka is active because my Viveka is not active. Now the Viveka of that person The grace of the Guru from outside slowly purifies my mind and my buddhi. When my buddhi is fully illumined, it is shining in par with the Guru's consciousness. So my inner Guru is awakened. The moment my inner Guru is awakened, the mind which is running outside will now sit here only inside, within. Now do you understand? Appo Depa Bhava means what? Awaken your own light when Buddha says. The whole text, what we are talking about, awakening one's own Guru inside, it is not a war between inside and outside. It is the concept is that everything outside comes to take you inside only. It has to sooner or later go take you inside only. Some or the other day, it has to take you inside. So Arunachala Tattva does that. It gives you full clarity. So when Shiva says to Parvati, it is because of Mandbuddhi that I have given all these karmakandas and all these concepts to them. You don't need it, you can directly, but you have to give up now your movement. Don't move, give up every concept. Every concept. See, why Parvati is not able to go here? Because she is still having concepts. Till from Mooladhara till here, she has made her own effort. The ego makes effort, the sadhaka makes all kind of effort. I will go, I'll go, I'll go, I'll do this, I'll do that tapas. And no doubt, by doing so many things, you come till here. But here, the doing which is there, the doer is active. The ego is still active. And Shiva says, that guy cannot come. If the doer is there, it cannot come. That is what is keeping you and me different. So you have to give up that subtle ego which is catching. Don't catch that now. Fall free. It is a plunge that you have to take into the Chidakasha. That is why he teaches Nirlamba Sadhana. He tells the Devi, what you have been doing is all Salamba Sadhana, catching on to a mantra, catching on to a ritual, catching on to something, some form, some identity, some philosophy, some text, something or the other. Give up everything. He says, give up all your gods and goddesses, all deities, and take the plunge. That's difficult. That's difficult. That is why after going here, she is asking, how can I come there? Because she is making all the attempts. That attempt maker has to go. Catching any idea, catching any philosophy, catching any jnana, one cannot go there. All the jnana has to drop, external jnana. And the external jnana drops, the self-illumined jnana, Brahma jnana, emerges out. And that knows what to do. That then is the grace. From here to here is grace. Pure grace. You understand? So here no doing is there. That is what Arunachala Tattva is talking about, moving from doing to being. All doing goes here. You cannot do anything. Everything, all connections, all the holdings has to be let gone of. No practices come at the last moment. Last, that is the final sadhana. That is why Devi Kalotra is the final Upadesha given by Shiva to Parvati. After that, you don't need any Upadesha. So you can see Shiva is guiding through so many tantras, right from the gross till the top. All kind of sadhanas are there. But it all depends on where one's consciousness is. So this is the final. So Arunachala, the call of Arunachala means the final call. Ramana has emphasized this many times. That this call that comes from Arunachala and those who are pulled to the core and those who are generating a deep interest in understanding the Arunachala Tattva are the ones who are blessed and is the final lapse of their spiritual journey. Because one leap is there, Nirlamba leap. That's little difficult. That Nirlamba of giving up everything and not holding on to anything, all concepts, everything gone and completely empty, and just the plunge into the being. For that, a little bit of work more is there. But once a sadhaka reaches that state, then grace takes over. Then the doer, then the sadhaka cannot do anything. The doer cannot do anything. Nothing left to do. Then the Lord takes over. The Atman, the soul takes over. Ramana is explained in many, many ways. I don't know how many series we will be doing this, but as many series we can do, it will be better because, sorry, we will be able to understand these tattvas in detail. So, by grace, I hope it goes on for long. We can go step by step, and these videos will remain also on YouTube. So, there is no complaint of recordings. You can anytime refer to it and sit and contemplate whenever. Don't listen to it like a story. Reflect. That is why I said Arunachala Ramana Chintanam. That's the name I've given this series. Chintan karna hai. We are contemplating on the teachings and the stories what we hear, not to glorify some story outside. You might want to go and worship Arunachala, you might want to go and worship Garland, Shiva, or in your temple. All that is fine, but there is something more to it. Pay attention to that. Pay attention more to that. Now, the Arunachala Tattva and these series are not to make you do anything more. It is to make you still and reflect. Chintan karo. Shravan, Manan, Chintan, Nididhyasana. This is what our focus should be now on. Then you'll easily understand it. Because the grace is within us. It is just waiting us for to be silent. Like Shiva is telling Parvati, on the condition, I'll tell you Brahmagyan, but on one condition, become Nischala. Give up all your fears and doubts and sit here in Nischala. Then I'll give you the Brahmagyan. This is the meaning, symbolic meaning. The Brahmagyan is within us. Shiva will not come and give you. There's no God who's going to come and give us a lecture there. The Shiva Jnana is within us. But the voice is telling, first be calm, still. The Brahmagyan will be given means it will emerge from within. The knowing of who am I, that is Brahmagyan. One is we listen from a teacher, who am I and all that. One is a realization of who am I. It comes, it happens, unfolding. Automatically it happens. So this knowledge is all within us only. Brahmagyan is not to be taken from outside. It is not like those stories, it's a Gupta Gyan sealed in some Himalayas on this ashram or with this guru, that path, and it is kept concealed in the lineage. No way. If you go outwardly, you'll get more confused. You go inwardly and connect to the Param Tattva. There are beautiful ways to connect to this beautiful inner self. Vaikari Madhyama Pashyanti Paravani. You start practicing that, and then you'll have direct access to the whatever you're projecting outside as Shiva, that inner voice, that inner consciousness which will awaken, the grace which will pull you, which will make you effortless, which will guide you, protect you, lead you, and take you where you are supposed to be in the highest. The surrender will automatically happen. Once you see that tattva working in you, you'll not feel like padpadao. You'll not feel like hitting your hands and feet and do this and do that. You'll just go into that surrender and be guided and lead life as you are guided from within. That is the power of Arunachala. So these are some deep things that I've benefited from this place in the past so many years. 16 to 18 years past, I'm coming to this place. But only in the last 4 years, I've been able to understand and even have realization of what this Arunachala is. I've been coming here for so many years, 1.5 decade, but only recently I understood it. So I believe that's the time why I had to be pulled that side, that ego, that clutter which is there of the false knowledges of outside, the learnings that we take from here and there, all that when it goes only, these things starts emerging from inside. So when it used to emerge, while I used to sit on the hill, many things used to come. I used to wonder, is this my mind doing anything? Then these books, then the correct teachings at the right time used to come. And then what's happening inside, there is outside. And Bhagavan Ramana was like literally my guru sitting there and guiding me. And wherever doubts used to come, in the books, his speech, his words used to clear it out. And I used to, that's how I knew that's the unfolding, and that's how the last 4 years has been. And once it started benefiting, then I started sharing this whole thing, to the people who are like me or who are like me, confused or had this little skepticism about doing and being and what is the path about, what is Shiva, where is Shiva, and all those things. It gives clarity. So, today I told you about the external and the internal, micro and the macrocosm. So, Arunachala is nothing but a representative of our inner being only. So, this book I found it very good. I'll begin off with this. We have 25 minutes. Though I might not go with the whole book, I'll just go on as I feel guided. Because I want to just emphasize on the glory of Arunachala. Then you'll understand Bhagavan Ramana, the importance of Bhagavan Ramana. Because if you understand the importance and Mahima of this place, you'll understand what role did Bhagavan play there and how important our connection can be with this place, with Bhagavan's teachings. So it starts with the invocation. Here there's a nice picture, black and white picture. Below that, one line from Arunachala Aksharamanimale. We did this Aksharamanimale, if you remember, right? 108 beads, garlands, the poems composed by Bhagavan Ramana. So deep they are. We did it in that Arunachala webinar. It says one line, Thou dost root out the ego of those who meditate on thee in the heart, O Arunachala. Means you root out the ego of anyone who meditates on you, O Arunachala, in their heart. And that's what we are trying to understand. Arunachala eventually has to be meditated in the heart. So it says in this Aksharamanimala, this is written by Bhagavan Ramana, that you will remove, eradicate the ego out of anyone who meditates in their hearts on you, O Arunachala. So there is an invocation here. It says Shiva Mahimna Stotra. It's been translated from Sanskrit to English, and I think it has translated by Sri M.C. Subramanian. So we'll read the. I do not know Sanskrit anyway, so we'll read the English. There is no Sanskrit here; it's only English. It says, "O Hara," referring to Shiva. Even the words of Brahma and other gods are inadequate to sing your glory. It is therefore impossible for an ignorant man to speak of your greatness. Nevertheless, this, my deep desire to describe you as indescribable, cannot be wrong. Even the Shrutis could only indirectly describe you as not this or not that, and your greatness as being beyond words and thoughts. How can one say what you are, and who can visualize you? Yet, how can one remain without thinking or speaking of your revealed form? I am inclined to speak of your glory so that I may become pure. O Hill Supreme, when you stood as this column of effulgence, the utmost efforts of Brahma and Vishnu to realize your greatness were of no avail. Yet, later, full of devotion and faith, they praised you and appeared. You appeared before them. Can devotion fail to achieve anything? So, this is a stotra that is praising the hill, Arunachala. Shiva Mahima Stotra. It says that it is impossible for an ignorant man to even talk about your greatness. Like I told you in the start, it is impossible to even, because whatever we talk becomes a mind concept of philosophy. And these are realizations. The truth is always realizations. It should not become another concept or philosophy. It cannot be talked because it's beyond the mind and ego and intellect also. See, whenever you are in deep samadhi, you cannot recollect those, or you cannot come and explain that experience. Though you know, you have realized that experience, but it is beyond words and thoughts. So that is why it is said the self cannot be talked about. Leave Shiva. Whatever we talk about Shiva is not Shiva. Anything that can be talked about cannot be about Shiva, because that tattva cannot be talked about. It is impossible to be talked about. It is impossible to be defined by the mind, by spoken by the words. It is something to be realized. So he's telling it is for an ignorant man, it is impossible to speak of your greatness. Even the Shrutis could only indirectly describe you. Shrutis are the Vedas, Upanishad. They also cannot describe the Parabrahman, Parashiva, the Supreme Consciousness. They also indirectly describe you as not this, not this, not that, not that, Neti, Neti. It can only tell this one, no, it's not that. Anything your thought can think about, that cannot be that. If you want to understand the self, it is not this, not this, not this. And finally, when after not this, Neti, Neti, what remains? That blankness. That blankness cannot be recorded. There is no mind there to describe it. So you can see right now, even what I am attempting, whatever is understood, that also is not that. Because what is understood cannot be something, it is nothing actually. It's very difficult. How can one say what you are and who can visualize you? See, this is what I am trying to point out again and again. You cannot visualize this Shiva. Even to say Shiva, you have given a name to it. It is beyond name. Nirakara, Nirguna. Has a guna. Any name you put, it has a guna. Word has a guna. Word is an impurity. It is the purest of pure. No name, nothing. But for the matter of speaking, we have to use word. At the moment you use word, some concept will pop up in your head. So that's the difficulty. How can anyone visualize you? Shiv Mahima Sutra only is telling. Yet how can one remain without thinking or speaking of your revealed form? Still we cannot remain without speaking about that form, revealed form, whatever that form is. So he's telling this, you stood as the supreme light, and all the efforts of Brahma and Vishnu failed because they were fighting. We'll understand what did they fight about. So this is the invocation done. So the first chapter says the significance of Arunachala. In the Sutta Samhita, it is said, Shiva's very form is Linga, hence the term Shivalinga. Later, it will be found that the Supreme Being revealed himself as this Linga of fire. Okay, this much is clear, right? So the heading is the greatness of Shivalinga as told in Sutta Samhita. Linga is truly Shiva. All is revealed by Shiva, who is the very essence of consciousness and knowledge. See, very essence of consciousness and knowledge. It's not just consciousness, it's a pure consciousness. It's consciousness plus the wisdom, the cosmic intelligence. It is intelligent by itself. Cosmic intelligence. So all is revealed by Shiva, who is the very essence of consciousness and knowledge. Nothing can reveal him. Thus, the Linga is the soul, self-shining reality. In brief, Shiva is consciousness unmanifest, whereas Shivalinga is the consciousness manifest. So Shiva, what we are talking is the consciousness which is not yet manifested, still in the nothingness, formless, attributeless, nirguna, nirakara. But Shivalinga is the manifested form, Saguna Roop Lilya. So the Shivalinga, what we are talking, we are not talking about the stone Shivalinga. Linga akar means the oval shape. Linga. Linga means the oval shape. So you see, everything has got this oval shape. The presence, you as a presence, me as a presence, we as a presence, we are all lingas. You look at the standing man's aura, it will be like a linga, oval shape. Now that if you catch only the aura of a person, standing person, the oval shape, that is the linga. We are all Shivalingas. This Stula linga, you can say the physical body is that physical linga. But there is a Jyotirlinga. Jyotir is the effulgence, it is the light that spreads from the center of the being, the light spreads like a flame. That pure consciousness, that is the pure Atman in the form of Linga, Jyoti Swarupa. So we are all Atmalinga. Atmalinga is beautifully described in Chidakasha Gita by Bhagavan Nityananda. This word is there, Atmalinga, where he's talking about the Sahasrara, he's talking the Atmalinga is situated. So this, the whole thing, what we are talking about, this effulgence, when you take out the body, when you take out the koshas, you remain as that speck, one speck. That is the ego, the I amness. If that speck, the ego goes up, that bubble goes up, the bubble goes off, you are one with the eternal supreme consciousness, the supreme fire, one with that. So when you separate, you become the whole shape. So you can say every ego is this one Jyotirlingas, all lingas we are. Then from there, Sukshma, it starts manifesting. That is what the concept of this Anandamaya Kosha. See, that is the Karana Sharira. Anandamaya Kosha, then Vijnanamaya Kosha, then Manomaya Kosha, then Pranamaya Kosha, and then Annamaya Kosha. This is the Annamaya Kosha. Very gross, clearly seen. But one more is there, which is invisible, but still grosser, but invisible. Pranamaya Kosha, Prana Sharira, etheric body. Still little more Sukshma, subtle, which is the Manomaya Kosha, the mind body, mental body. Still little more is the Vijnanamaya Kosha, your Viveka, your awareness. That is the point of awareness. And still Sukshma, purified ego, Anandamaya Kosha. That is where the Jyoti Swarupa. And if Anandamaya Kosha destroys itself, the ego is gone, the Jyoti merges into the one light. The identity is formed from there. So that identity, that whole shape, the Sukshma Sharira, that is only called as this Shivalinga. That is why it's clearly said here. In brief, Shiva is consciousness unmanifest. What we are talking, Shiva is no form, no attributes, nothing, Chidakash, blank. And Shivalinga is the consciousness that has manifested. So we are all Shivalingas. So if you refer to your microcosm, you are Shivalinga. You are the Tejolinga or Jyotirlinga. But if you can't relate that, then macrocosm. In the cosmos, whole cosmos, one Jyoti. Like in the Chidakasha, I am born. Microcosm. If you can't understand, macrocosm. In the whole Brahmanda, then there is nothing. One light appears. That is the start of Shiva. That is the Jyoti. Jyoti Swarupa. And the aura appears for that fire. For that spot, the aura appears. That is Linga. Got it? Tejo Linga. That is only what you are calling as Shiva. The first light appeared as Jyotirlinga, and that light only condensed as what you call Arunachala. Means it is taking a form, like I told you here. You also start with the Tejolinga only, then you have this form, physical body. So that only, that hill is that physical body of that Tejolinga. Macrocosm. Anyhow, you can relate outside or inside. Again, it is said that unto which all merge is linga. See, it is said that unto which everything else merges, that is the Shivalinga, that is the linga. And that's what we are talking about. Everything in the pralay goes back into that one dot. Macrocosm, if you see. Microcosm, if you see, your Jagat, your whole Brahmand at night collapses into that nothingness. Everything is resolved into Brahman, but the Supreme Brahman, being the sole eternal reality, cannot merge into other. All but Shiva merge into Shiva. Therefore, Linga is immortal Shiva himself. The whole universe is termed as Linga, as the former is resolved and absorbed into and manifested from the latter, but the Linga is free from any emblem or characteristic mark. Okay, so everything merges into this Linga. The whole Shrishti merges into this one Linga that we call as Shiva. But this Linga cannot merge into anything else. It is just like saying everything collapses into the Chidakasha. But Chidakasha cannot collapse into any other Akasha because there is no other Akasha. This is the substratum. Substratum is Chidakasha, which is eternal and infinite. There's no end to it. It doesn't belong to anything else. It is the ultimate reality in which the whole play takes place. Like I explained to you many times, from the Chidakasha appears the Chit Akasha, that is your mind space. From the Chitta Akasha appears the Bhuta Akasha, the physical space. This is all physical space, what you can see. Physical objects, Bhuta Akasha. You close this eyes, Bhuta Akasha collapses, your mind opens up. Chitta Akasha. In that many thoughts and feelings are floating around, but there is an Akasha, there is an empty space. But that is still the mind. When the mind collapses, where does it go? It goes into the Chidakasha. That's the end. So that's what it's trying to explain here. Everything is resolved into the Brahman, but the Supreme Brahman, being the sole eternal reality, cannot merge into other. All but Shiva merge into Shiva. Therefore, the Linga is immortal. That is why they call the Linga as the immortal. So, basically, you can say the Chidakasha, or this eternal Akasha, sky, being called as the Linga, into which all the other lingas or all the creation, everything merges into that. This linga is unqualified, beyond darkness. It is the source of the sacred syllable pranava, om. It is neither an entity nor a non-entity, neither a pervader nor the pervaded, neither the knowledge nor the knower nor the known, neither the manifest, the existing or the unmanifest, neither real nor unreal, or a mixture of the two. It is only the self realized. See, that's what it cannot be defined. It is neither this, neither that. It cannot come under anything. You cannot put it under one. That's why they are trying to say here. It cannot be called the knowledge. It cannot be called even the knower of that knowledge, or even what is known. The trika, we have explained this trika. The observer, the observed, and their observation. There's three things for life to come across, for the whole drama to begin. Three things is needed. So we say the devotee, the devoted, and the devotion. Then the whole drama of devotion begins. The devotee has to be there, the devoted, the God has to be there, and the devotion in between has to be there. So that's what it's saying. It is neither the knower, the known. What is to be known? Some secret. So I am the knower of that secret. And the knowing. What is that you know? Itinobini absent. So they're trying to define this Shiva, supreme consciousness, as neither this or that. So can you understand? When I tell most of us here that what you are claiming to be God or Shiva is still an akriti, it's still a format, it is still a saguna rupa. We are not gone into the unmanifested. It is not the nirguna nirakara, Paramashiva. And this Arunachala Tattva talks about that. That's Advaita, pure Advaita. Okay, the form is not yet the Advaita. It is leading us to that. It leads you to that. Form leads you to the formless. So here it is telling, defining, it is neither the form nor the formless also. It is not anything that can be defined. It refuses. We have done this, if you remember, in Ashtavakra Gita. We have done this, if you remember, we did it in Avadhuta Gita. Same. It cannot be defined. It's neither this, neither that. So it is the source of the sacred syllable called Om, Pranam. That Pranam mantra also, yesterday we explained, where the light explodes. There is a sound. Like the lightning happens and there is a thunder. The implode, the sound, the implosion, the power by which the light explodes, the Big Bang. The bang has to have a sound. That sound only is called the Pranam mantra, the first sound. Om. So that's what they're referring here. It is the source of the Pranam mantra. It is only the self-realized. It illuminates all by the light, all by its light, neither decaying nor undecaying, neither moving nor inert, neither proof nor the proven, neither the vital nor the mind, neither the seen nor the seer, neither the image nor the reflection, neither the visible nor the invisible. It is beyond speech, beyond thought. It is not the eye, not the ear, not the nose, not the ear, not the earth, not the ether, not the vital airs, not any other objects of the senses. To realize the self, inquiring in this manner is true worship. To realize the self, this is the right manner, it says. How? None. Discard everything. You cannot hold on anything. Nirlamba, to see. If you are sitting quietly and meditating, any feeling, discard it. That's not it. Any thought, discard it. Any idea, discard it. Any imagination, discard it. Any sensation, discard it. When you just discard, that's nirlamsa. You straightened up, realizing. So that's what it says. To realize the self, inquiring in this manner is true worship. True worship. Arunachala Tattva is telling what it is telling. What is the actual bhakti? What is the actual puja? What is the actual worship that we do? It is not burning candles, incense sticks, or diyas, or garlanding, or running around. That's not true worship. True worship is this, sitting and just discarding everything. This is exactly Devi Kalotra, if you see. Shiva is telling Parvati, discard everything. Then you will find me. Chidakasha. It illuminates by its light. This, what you call as Shiva, it is the Swayam Prakashit light. It is by which everything happens. It is by which we are sitting here right now. It is by which I am speaking, by I am thinking, you are contemplating. There is a power of light in everything here. It illuminates this whole world. It makes the whole world come alive. It makes you and me come alive. It makes your mind, my mind come alive. Our intellect come alive. Our ego come alive. The thoughts in it moving. Who moves it? Without the light, you cannot see the thoughts. Yesterday I explained, right? It is not the physical light. If you close your eyes and sit, there are thoughts running. How are you able to read those thoughts? There is a light that is falling on every thought, illuminating that thought. That light is Shiva. Are you getting it? That light is Shiva. What we catch as Shiva is, by that light, what illuminates that image, or by the light, it illuminates the hill. By my light, it illuminates a deity, an image, an idol. I say that is Shiva. Or some mental picture comes, I say Shiva is that. Shiva is not that. Shiva is the light by which you see that. Seer. This linga, though not the ether, nor different from it, yet reveals it. Though not the light, reveals it. Though not the air, but still makes it move. Though not the water, yet gives it nature. See how beautifully they are explaining this linga. Means Shiva. It is not the ether, but yet reveals it. See, it is not even the ether, not even the space, not the light, but still reveals it. Not the air, but still makes it move. Not the water, but yet gives it nature. This linga can be seen on a shining seat in the house of the nine gates, never installed there by anyone, but having faces, hands, feet, heads, and seats in all direction. It lies beyond darkness, nothing can be seen there. It is revealed by the unqualified being by Vedanta. From it emerges the magnificent earth and is resolved into it. The three qualities, namely brightness, activity, and darkness, means sattva, rajas, and tamas, of which the universe is made, manifest from it. See, it's all glorified text, but simply it's trying to tell it lies beyond even the darkness. Because darkness also is a concept. If you see, you think about darkness, it's like a concept in your head. It's even beyond that. Nothing can be seen there. It is revealed by the unqualified being by Vedanta. From it emerges the magnificent. Okay, from this space, this dark space, which is beyond even description of that darkness, beyond any concept of darkness. From that space, the magnificent earth is born. Means the whole Brahmanda is born from that state. From there, the three qualities, namely the Sattva, Rajas, and Tamas, brightness, activity, and darkness, are born. Okay, one small para and I'll finish it. Its size cannot be estimated, for it has no magnitude. It remains unbroken and unitary. All the spheres of the vast universe are located in it. It has no temple but contains all in itself. It is the innermost core of all beings. It is neither Ishvara nor the Jiva, but the inmost conscious self, bliss, non dual reality, unrelated to Brahma, Vishnu, Rudra, Indra, etc. One statement says it all, which I have been trying to say or express all these years. I don't know if anybody gets me also. Here it says very clearly this definition of the Paramashiva. It is neither Ishvara nor the Jiva. It is neither the gods nor the beings. Simple. But the innermost conscious self. That self which is fully aware, conscious, which is the bliss, non dual reality. Non dual. There is no other. The moment you define it, there are two there. The definer is there and the defined is there. It is a non dual experience of the innermost conscious, pure awareness of bliss, unrelated to Brahma, Vishnu, Rudra, Indra, etc. It is unrelated, it has nothing to do with Brahma, Vishnu, Mahesha, Shiva, Rudra, unrelated to all this. These forms are later. In fact, these forms are known or have life because of this light. How do even Brahma, Vishnu, Mahesh function? It has to have this light. If this light is taken out of pitch darkness, they cannot function. The story where Parvati comes and shuts down the eyes of Shiva. You heard it? It's there, I think, in the ahead. Funny, she's just jokingly closes the three eyes of Shiva, and the whole universe goes into pitch darkness. Everything comes to a halt. It happens for half a second, but Here it is millions of years, the earth, the whole Brahmanda has plunged into darkness. It shows that without that light, there is no existence, there is nothing comes. That light. It's not a person whose eyes are closed. Now, this can be realized only by the self. It is the self known to oneself and abides within. So, only by the self it can be known. Nobody can show it to you. There is no other mean. Not even a guru can show it to you. Guru can make all efforts to point you in this direction and get you cleansed by your own efforts or by the grace and push of the guru and all that. But nobody can give you a direct revelation. It is your soul that has a direct revelation, but the impurities has to go. The ignorance has to be removed. So our only effort is to give up ignorance so that this emerges out. The awareness of the self-realization is does happen. That is why Bhagavan Ramana says you are already self-realized. What are you striving to? Because the moment you say I want to achieve self-realization, you think it is somewhere outside. It's not outside to get. It is you, but because of the clouds, you're unable to see that I'm self-realized. I feel I'm ignorant. So once these clouds are removed, I realize myself. So it is the self known to the self and abide within. This is the supreme bliss. There is nothing apart from it. It is always worshipped by all. It is free from the three states of waking, dream, and deep sleep. Means Jagrit, Swapna, and Sushupti. It is beyond that. It is Turiyatit. Beyond this word, beyond the Jagrit, Sushupti, and Swapna is Turiya state. Turiya is beyond these three states, the blank state. So that state, that Turiya also is a state which is experienced, but beyond that it lies. That is why we call Turiya Tit. Bhagavan Ramana beautifully explains the Turiya. He says it is not another state. Like if you see in the scriptures, if you see in the many texts and paths, they say three avastha, Jagrit, Swapna, and Sushupti. Beyond that is the next state of Turiya. And Ramana says there is no Turiya beyond it. You are Turiya. How beautiful. Means my original state is Turiya, I amness. From there, the Jagrat arises. From there, the Swapna arises. From there, the Sushupti also arises. But when these three state goes, I am in my real form, the Turiya. That is what he says. That is the self-realized state, Turiya. Self-realized state is Turiya. Beyond Turiyatit is where I am known as Shivoham. There's a pure Shiva state of consciousness. Beyond the Turiya. Beyond all the four states. It is Drik beyond pure knowledge. Neither the ignorant nor the all knowing individuals or gods in the power of ego or Maya can see this linga. Neither the ignorant can see this linga, what we are talking about, neither the all knowing individuals, means great intellectual, all who are well educated and full knowledge about all the spirituality, neither they can know it, nor even the gods who are in the power of ego or Maya. Any god, saint, anybody you say, who are still in the custody of some ego or some illusion Maya, cannot see this linga. Last line. As this cannot be understood by all, out of his spontaneous infinite mercy, Shiva is here manifest as Arunachala, which all can see and worship. This is what I exactly wanted to say. In the start, I have been saying that because we cannot fathom this, we cannot understand. It is beyond the concepts and mind, and but we are in the concepts and minds. We need some concept. We need to see something, smell something, taste something, touch something, hear something. Panchindriya is very strong. So out of his spontaneous infinite mercy, Shiva is manifested as Arunachala, which we can all see and manifest together. Makes sense, right? That's the Param Tattva. Out of his grace and compassion, who has come to help us in that manner. So when I say Arunachala, Arunachala, so many we are talking about retreats and this, it's all we are being pulled there, called there by His grace, because there is something which we cannot see. So all those who are pulled towards Arunachala, all those who have this deep love and affinity towards Arunachala, are under the magnetic power of that grace. It is that supreme consciousness only, because we are lost in this ignorance. In the ignorance is pulling us out and making us connect and realize. Look at these layer by layer. Arunachala Tattva only reveals. As you come closer, now see, if you don't have interest, would you even sit here? If you don't have affinity towards Arunachala, you'll never sit here towards Bhagavan Ramana, you'll never even listen to this. So to listen to this and deeply listen and imbibe it, you need interest. That interest is grace. What does it say? To even think of God, you think by the power of that grace only. Avadut Gita, first verse. Advaita Vasanam Ishwara Kripa. Ishwara Kripa Advaita Vasanam. It is Ishwara's Kripa. It is God's grace by which you have an Advaita Vasana in you. Vasana to realize the self. It is without grace you cannot do that. So let us be thankful and grateful for these opportunities that Bhagavan Ramana, who's the representative of that Paramashiva, manifested as Arunachala Shiva. Let us be aware, let us contemplate and reflect deeply on the grace of the Almighty connecting to us through Arunachala. You may think of the external hill Arunachala, or you might concentrate on the center of your heart. Both are one and the same. Or you might see the hill in the center of your heart. The holographic effect. One and the same. You look at the effulgence, the light shining within as your Guru. Or you look at Bhagavan Ramana, the body, the face in the center of your heart. Or your own Guru, whoever you are connected to, any Guru. You look at that being in the center of your heart. It's the same. Let us bring this bhava of gratefulness, gratitude for His infinite mercy, compassion, for this tattva always finding so many ways to reach us, to guide us, to liberate us. Into that we surrender. As we slowly keep realizing this presence of grace in our life, we slowly start surrendering to that grace. And we become free bit by bit. We do this till we become Purna, complete, whole. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudayachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. May we all be blessed, may we all evolve, may we all be free. Arunachala Shiva. See you tomorrow at 9.